Happy Friday, Tucson and Arizona Wildcat fans. You are listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Mike Luke, joined by Jason Scheer, Jacob Franklin in the back. I am dealing with a massive migraine, so everybody be nice to me. It's going to be a team effort today. We appreciate you very much. But Jason Scheer, how are you doing today, my friend?
Splendid. Is this your first migraine?
I would assume so.
First real migraine?
Man, I would assume so. This sucks. But I will not talk about it. All right, let's get on to some serious stuff here. Eric, we're going to talk Gio Richardson. Very, very nice commitment for the U of A. Big 12 polls, top 30 recruiting, what we expect. A lot of pressure on Brent Brennan. We're going to talk a little bit of Montiejus Krivas as well. But first, Arizona gets a nice commitment from Gio Richardson out of Basha High School in Phoenix. Now, obviously, that was DeMond Williams' old school before he went to smelly, rainy Seattle. But Richardson fits very much in that template that they're looking for with they're looking for bigger wide receivers. Obviously, that kind of fits into the template. This is a nice get for him, especially too because Arizona has some pretty nice receivers in this class.
Yeah, Gio's nice because he could play in the slot. He could play outside, as we see in the video. He's going to have a very real chance of returning punts and kicks. They like him quite a bit. They're rebuilding this wide receiver room. The anticipation is they'll lose T-Mac and you never know and all that. So they're going to rebuild this room in this class. And I think that what we're seeing is they have a different style of wide receiver. They landed Shelton, who's huge, but you look at Richardson, just a completely different player who can move around a little bit more.
Now, just looking at these highlights, it does seem to me that, and again, he's got good offers. Seems to me he's a little bit underrated. I mean, this is what a receiver that's that tall is supposed to look like, Scheer.
You think everyone's underrated?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's my bias.
But no, he's good. He's good, and I like him in the slot. I know he can play outside, but I think he's a dynamic slot receiver. And you mentioned the offers. I mean, Kansas State, ASU, Boise State, a bunch of others. It really came down to Kansas State. That was the other competition, and obviously, again, it's another situation where Arizona beats, and I know it's in the state, but Arizona beats one of the best teams in the Big 12 to get a recruit.
I think that's what we're going to see this entire time, basically. I think they are going to go with some Smurf wide receivers from time to time, but I've always liked that motto, though, of when in doubt, go big. And when you've already got 2 6'3" receivers coming in, you got this guy as well. Again, this is and plus it kind of fits into that recruiting template where you're dealing with Texas, you're dealing with Arizona, you're dealing with California.
Yeah, and I mean that's really what it comes down to is, it's interesting. I'm going to talk a little crap here, Mike, which I never do, but Kenny Dillingham, who we like, and his coaching staff was supposed to be the in-state recruiting whispers, and Arizona's doing better right now in-state.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they are. No, you got Dejon Hinton. You've got Gio Richardson. You've got Marcel. Caleb Jones. Excuse me. Marcel Jones was an offensive lineman from Phoenix that went to Nebraska. Then you have again, and a lot of the guys that Dilly got, they bounced. Dejon Hinton,
Luke Halgo is another one. The quarterback, Luke Halgo, is another one.
Yeah, that guy didn't have an ASU offer, so I'm not going to really put that one on there. But we can still use it for our purposes because it's kind of like a Pro Football Focus if it fits our purposes.
He had an ASU offer.
Luke Halgo?
Yeah, early in the process they offered. I can tell you the exact date if you'd like.
All right. Well, either way, the kid they got
December 18th, 2022. Was that Dillingham? 2022?
No. June 22. I don't think so. But either way, Arizona's doing a very, very nice job in state. A lot of scrumptious.
Oh, yes. Scrumptious. Mike and I are trying to bring scrumptious back. We're going to say that all Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be all scrumptious.
Scrumptious Fridays. But now with so the next move then, and we've talked about it, you're going to be losing a lot of wide receivers this year. You're going to be losing, obviously, T-Mac. By the way, very big tattoo that T-Mac got on his back. The thing's huge. T-Mac. You're going to be losing T-Mac. You're going to be losing your guy, Montiejus Krivas. You got to replenish the wide receiver room. I like Raymelo Murphy. We're going to talk about him in here in just a second. But between Raymelo Murphy, between 3 wide receivers you got coming in, I'm sure they'll bring in more as well. That you can tell that they're planning for next year. They're planning for the future.
And I'll say this too, they're not done. There's 2 more receivers that I think they're in the top 2-4 at worst. And they're going to decide here soon, and they absolutely could land Isaiah Mizell from Florida and Tunkara. Like they absolutely could land both, and that would be the end of the receiving class. But I mean, that's got to be up there with any receiving class in the conference, and it would be an awesome class.
And again, these are guys with good offers. That is what we were going for here. That I caution this to everybody. Look at the offer list. Now, again, there are some fake offers, like the lineman from Mater Dei, probably some fake offers. But these are legitimate offers, what we're telling you. Plus, it fits our points, so we're going to go with it.
Yeah, and the thing I like also is like athleticism. Like I have it pulled up on Mizell because someone on staff was saying how much they love him. He ran the 100, 10.4. His mom was an NCAA All-American sprinter at Florida. Like brother was a 4-star last year. So it goes back to what we said with this class too. Bloodlines, right? Like it's important. It's clearly important to the coaching staff in this class.
Yes, exactly. Now let's talk about a running back recruit that Denman out of Texas as well, top 600 kid. You believe this is down, you believe this is down to Arizona and TCU, but you believe that Arizona has a very legitimate chance here, Jason Scheer.
Yeah, they feel like they're in it. It's probably 50-50. I think TCU feels pretty good, but you know, Arizona's landed guys that schools have felt good, like Coleman Patton. Other schools felt good about him. TCU felt good about Alan Gant. Denman's going to be a tough one. Arizona already has a running back. He'll decide tomorrow, but they're not out of it. They have not been told no yet.
Coleman Patton sounds like a Civil War general.
Yeah.
I mean, really, General Coleman Patton.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, no, very good. So, but that's kind of where we're at now. So you got the receiver. You're going to have, hopefully we'll have some more good news as well. So we will get to that. Erica L. Day, they're taking a couple months off, it sounds like, but they will be back though. So do you know more about that? But I guess Ben One White basically ran them out. She said what happened to Flavoring Fridays. I guess basically Ben One White ran them out of town. So
no. Ben Fun White.
Yes, that's a good point. Fun White. Okay, now let's talk a little bit of recruiting expectations then, and then we're going to get, we're going to get to a lot of, there's a lot of pressure on Brent Brennan. I know that it's not necessarily fair, but there's a lot of pressure on Brent Brennan. My recruiting expectations are this. This staff is clearly proven that they can get players. Now, again, I don't know. Joseph's question, I think, is valid, where he says the only thing that concerns me is there's no headline commit like Fish had in the previous years. I get that, but at the same time, this still is their first recruiting class. But they're also showing that they can get players that are they're showing that they can get players that other schools want. That is a big thing for me. I believe this is where I'm at. I'm going to keep saying this. I believe that top 30. I believe that you should be able to get top 30 to 40 classes at the U of A, and then it's your job to coach them up. If you get top 30 to 40 classes at the U of A, then boom, it's your job, Brent Brennan, to take some of that San Jose State magic and work with it.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm blowing up, Mike. Yeah, I mean, the class is fine to me. You know, in an ideal world, you would have landed a 4-star here or there, but what I like about this staff, and it has like Sumlin had no direction. Rich Rod was kind of all over the place. It's very specific. Like they know exactly what they want. They're not just BSing. And the thing that I also like is they realize, like, at the end of the day, when you're a program like Arizona, sometimes you just got to take the best available. It may not fit in your numbers directly, but if you're about to land a high 3-star wide receiver that you love, you take them. Right, as opposed to, like, Arizona's not in a position to turn down good players, and I haven't seen this staff really turn down good players yet.
Yeah, Arizona's not in position to be able to turn down good players, and I don't believe that they will. But again, top 30 to 40 kids, and you just got to be able to coach them up at that point. Because here's the thing: you look at what Utah is able to do. What Utah is able to do is they get those top 45 classes, and they'll. They get those top 45 classes, and then go from there. Then with some other places, same thing. Look at Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy has had teams in the last 20 years. Mike Gundy's had like 11 teams finish in the top 25. He's not bringing in top 10, top 15 classes. To me, it's so much about the coach and just getting talent that you can mold, kind of like Jason Scheer molds Mike Luke. No, it sounds bad.
Also, you got to keep in mind too, like recruiting has changed. Yeah, high school recruiting rankings are great. You want to be in the top 30, 40, like that's fine. But now we're talking portal, right? And so if you miss on a guy, you go to the portal and you basically get it. And so recruiting rankings overall, while important, there's also a bit of a dynamic that has changed here.
Yeah, and you got to keep that one in mind. And so with Oklahoma State, Robert Garetano says, the great Robert Garetano says Oklahoma State has a lot of money, true, but again, they still don't bring in highly rated classes. I've gone back and looked at them. They don't. That's, all right. Now, I am of the opinion that Brent Brennan is under a lot of pressure this year. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's fair, but it just is what it is. He's a first-year coach at a program, but he's been a head coach for quite a while. He's inherited a lot of talent. They've got to win now. There's a lot of pressure on him to win, and a lot of times Texas coaches don't, or Arizona coaches don't have that kind of pressure. He's got a lot of pressure to win now, Scheer.
I was on radio the other day, and they asked me the number of wins that Arizona fans would feel is acceptable after the success from last year. It's a good question. I think, in the world, it's 9, right?
9 minimum.
Yeah. I think you could probably live with 8 if you're near the top of the conference. Like, let's say 8-4 and you finish like 2nd or 3rd in the Big 12. I think the first year in the Big 12, you could handle it. A 7-5 sneaking into a bowl game is not acceptable.
Yes, 7-5 is just not acceptable, especially too with what you have. There's a lot of talent on this team, and we've gone through it. Maybe the depth isn't there, but if you look at this talent on paper, this is at least a 9-win team. I can't have 7 wins. I can't try to propagandize 7-5 into a bowl game as a regular. As a good, just no. You got to be able to win 9 games, because then it becomes easier to recruit. And that's what this comes down to for me. Arizona is not the easiest place to recruit because it doesn't have a lot of tradition. Yes, I know there's a few teams. I get that, but it doesn't have a lot of tradition. It doesn't have a lot of local, how do I put this? Just local talent. And it's just it. And it becomes a lot easier if kids know that Arizona football is good. If they grow up knowing that Arizona, like, that's just been kind of it just becomes easier to get your foot in the door, Scheer.
Yeah, it really does. And it shows that, fair or not, Brent Brennan has to show that Brent Brennan can win in general, right? Like, Jed Fish won. We know he won. Now Brent Brennan has to say, look, I could win with similar guys. I'm going to bring in my own players. We're going to win with these guys too. It wasn't just a flash in the pan, because the reality is Arizona football hasn't been successful for a long time, which is why people are excited. So you better be able to build on that success, because if you don't, you're right back where you started. And for the record, I don't think that Brent Brennan will be right back where we started, but you got to prove that you won't be.
Yes, but I do believe, though, that you've got to be in there. Now, Anthony Gerdos says, hi, Bar, which we've only won 9 games twice since 99. That's true. But at the same time, this team is also far more talented than those other teams as well. This team coming back is way more talented than the Rich Rod team that won the Fiesta Bowl. It just is. And it's more talented pretty much across the board. This is just a good team. It is.
I think people forget how lucky that Fiesta Bowl team was.
Super lucky, dude.
Like there were things like, it was very close to going the opposite direction.
Yeah. You had Hail Marys against crappy Cals.
Yeah, like last year that was good, right?
Yeah.
Like, we had discussions about this. Like, last year's team would have whooped that Fiesta Bowl team.
Right, exactly. Now, Robert Garetano says, Utah was average before Whittingham. Not so fast, my friend. I believe Urban Meyer was there before him.
Yeah, what are you talking about? No, it weren't.
So, but now let's get back to it. The reason there's also talent is because we know what these players are capable of. Despite Jed Fish's best efforts, we know that Noah Fafita is a baller. We know that Noah Fafita is a stud quarterback. So again, there's that. Then with obviously T-Mac, we know what T-Mac can do. And the offensive line, again, that's a question mark for me. But we got 4 dudes that we know can play here. And that's what I'm going to keep coming back to as well. Now, there are some unknowns. My guy, Malachi Riley, who you do believe is who you have rated way too low in your top 20 impactful player list.
That's not what the list is. That's not the list. It's most important. He's 18.
He's far more important than that. But you were
No,
wrong.
he's not. I'll give you my list, and you tell me who he should pass.
I don't want your list right now.
No, not now. But come on, that's not low.
You'll be wrong. But now, when it comes back to this squad, though, I think that you know, and defensively too, there's a lot of proven talent. That secondary is proven. I mean, we know what you have in that secondary. Now, the one corner spot Scheer and I are still competing for, but other than that, you still got 5 DBs that you know can play. You know Manu's a stud, and defensively, on the defensive line, it should be decent. Again, there isn't a lot of players that are total unknowns, and I think that is why there is so much talent there. That's why there's so much expectations.
Well, yeah, that's what we talk about, right? Like Arizona's questions aren't as big as some other questions. At corner is absolutely a question.
Yes.
That second corner scares the heck out of me. But the good thing is you kind of make up for it because one side of the field will be shut down with Decario, and then you have safeties.
Right. Now, look, and with the coaching staff as well, it is a very veteran coaching staff. I get that they're new in these roles. I get all of that. I do not care. They have been around forever, and it's a good thing. But Brent Brennan this is not his first year as a head coach. Dino Babers, not his first year as an OC. Dwayne Aquina, not his first year coaching the defense. This is I have high expectations, and I believe to whom much is entrusted, much is demanded, Jason Scheer. Much is entrusted, much is demanded. We say this.
Look at you. We should come up with a list of like Mike Luke-isms. Even though you don't pick up any of these, but you know.
Yeah, no, yeah. Not sure we want that. But there's a lot of really dumb Mike Luke-isms. But
they're all from Dumb and Dumber.
They are from Dumb and Dumber. But, all right, 9 wins. That is what we were going with. Bare minimum. We will hear nothing else of this. Now, let's look around the conference a little bit. Elaine Tran, great name. I very much like that name. Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards is dangerously good.
Why do people think Dylan Edwards is good?
Because he did flash.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And he was a highly rated kid coming out of high school.
I mean, he flashed, but he had 300 yards last year.
How many yards per carry?
4.
Oh, this reminds me of Jaden Ott, though, when you said, what has Jaden Ott proved? And then literally the next game.
No, that's what I'm saying. He could absolutely be really good. I mean, yes. It wouldn't. I'm just saying.
Yeah, all right, but I think there's talent there. Plus, I like the fact that he got away from Dion, so I'm going to give him a lot of credit for getting away from Dion. Avery Johnson is if you were to go with the biggest wild card in the Big 12, I think it's probably Avery Johnson. Because make no mistake, he's got a lot of talent. But I think people that are, saying that he's better than Noah Fafita, I don't know if anybody's saying that, but if they are wrong. I don't know that. But again, he could be really, really good because he certainly passes the eye test. I almost said he passes the smell test. But
his Heisman rating is the highest in the Big 12.
To me, that's where you lose me.
His odds are the highest in the Big 12.
That's where you lose me. Now, Palmer Hoffman says 4 yards per carry behind that abysmal O-line ain't that bad. I think that's not I don't know that that's necessarily the worst point in the world. We expect something from that now let's look at Kansas. Kansas to me is, if I was not backing the A, and I am backing the A, and Glenn in here, ASU fan Glenn in here already talking crap. Yes, I am biased, but I'm right. With Kansas to me is the safest pick if you were looking at this. Because again, I got major question if I'm not backing the A. Because with Kansas State, I still don't know if Avery Johnson is good. Totally get that. But he probably is. And Utah, I have no clue if Cam Rising can walk. So there's that. And then I also with Oklahoma State, Bowman, and then with I don't really think much of Bowman. I think Kansas, between the quarterback, running back, coaching, I think they're very interesting.
So there's 2 things with Kansas. Number 1, they don't have a home field this year. So that is concern because they don't have a home stadium because it's being redone.
Leopold, you don't need a home field, dude.
Right. Still, you're in Kansas still. Number 2, Jaden Daniels' health. If Jaden Daniels stays healthy, like that team's really good. Their running backs are really good. They have legit wide receivers. Their corners are as good as any in the country.
Right.
That's why I picked them second. I just assumed that, I took the positives. That's
Okay.
I took the positives now.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, fair enough. But so Oklahoma State, I don't quite get. But again, I have a great deal of respect for Mike Gundy. One thing that go ahead. Sorry.
No, I like Oklahoma State, but the reason I didn't pick them to win the conference is even though Alan Bowman is now 43 years old, he had 15 touchdowns and 14 picks last year. Like, he's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. And it's not like Mike Van Gundy. It's not like Mike Gundy runs an offense where you're like, man, I don't know how a quarterback's ever going to be good in that offense. I mean, it's not. I don't really get that one. It's Iowa State. Let's talk about Iowa State here for a minute. They have some appealing pieces. Obviously, nice quarterback, good coach. If you were to tell me a team outside of that Big Five was going to make a difference, I would say that it would be Iowa State. Jason Scheer, what say you?
Yeah, my two teams outside of the top five are Iowa State and UCF. I like Iowa State. Solid quarterback with Rocco. They have good receivers with Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. They have a pretty solid and experienced defense. They absolutely could surprise.
Let's talk Baylor here for a second. Baylor, because we have a great Elaine Tran in here. Baylor to me is always a great trivia answer. Name the only school in the last 15 years with 3 coaches with top 11 finishes. Guess who it is?
I'm going to think it's Baylor.
Baylor, yeah, led you right into that one. But with Baylor as well, I think that Baylor to me is I don't know how they win there, but it happens consistently. It's very, I mean, it's intriguing.
Yeah, I don't like Alan's kind of right. Baylor sucks this year.
No, I get they do suck. I totally agree they suck. I just wanted to give Elaine some credit.
Finn, a lot of questions would be around Daquan Finn. I do like they have a safety that I love, a corner, Caden Jenkins. I think that dude's a stud. But they don't have a lot of depth. They don't have
I know. I agree
overall talent.
No, I agree that Baylor sucks. I'm just saying I'm just giving them a little bit of credit for having 3 different coaches where they were good under. Okay.
Who was it? It was Bryles.
It was Bryles, Matt Rule, and Dave Aranda.
Oh, Rule. I forgot about Rule. I'm just focused on Nebraska. You tell me Matt Rule, I think of Nebraska.
Yeah. No, Matt Rule. All right, but now
I think of Jeff Sims.
Jeff Sims. I mean, who doesn't think of Jeff Sims? Let's be honest here. Who does not think of Jeff Sims? Now, all right, let's look at then a little bit of where this team. Actually, let's make fun of ASU first. I was telling you from the get-go. I said, dude, listen. I said, Scheer, you're being way too nice to ASU in these Big 12 power rankings. Way too nice. And you said, "Oh no, they're not going to be the worst." Scheer, they were picked dead last. Come on, dude. No ASU fan is going to like you. What are you doing here?
No, they're not the worst team in the conference. They're not. I'm telling you. I can't. Come on, don't make me defend ASU, Michael.
No, do it. Make the case.
They're not the worst team in the conference. They're just not. And I will say this though: if Levitt sucks, they might be.
What is not the worst ASU right now? Name me one thing that is good about ASU.
They're very solid. They're solid. They're not outstanding. Their defense is solid. Their secondary isn't bad.
Scatty Blue or whatever is good.
Their running game is solid. If McCaskill is healthy, their running game is very solid. Their secondary is good. They have good safeties.
Like 4 years, dude.
I'm just saying.
Oh, God.
Ask where's our boy Elaine? Baylor or ASU? Who's worse? I picked BYU last. I'm very confident in that.
Oh, I will. Hey, do we have a friendly wager? Arizona State and BYU?
Well, no. Let's just wager that ASU doesn't finish last in the conference.
Okay, well, you got to pick a team then. Well, you pick BYU.
No, you get.
I don't get the. You don't get the field.
Yeah, that's the bet. You're convinced ASU will finish last. I get the conference. You get ASU.
No, that's not where we're.
$50 right here.
Come on.
You just said ASU is going to finish last. Now you're not so confident.
Well, you need to pick
Mike's very cheap, everyone. You could tell. Mike doesn't like betting.
You need to pick a team, and then we will go from there.
Look at that. Look at Ralph. I don't know who Ralph is. Said he'd camp in his backyard.
That's your buddy.
Oh, that Ralph?
Yeah, Ralph, your friend.
Well, he can't be stuck here for all of January if ASU finished last.
All right, we'll talk about this more.
If ASU finishes last, Mike and I will camp in Jacob Franklin's backyard all January.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're gonna have to travel for that one then. But with going for go up to Phoenix, that's a long trip for all of us. Now, with Glenn, be nice. Now back to Arizona here for a second, Scheer. I'm looking at this. I wanted to ask you this. NFL prospects on this team right now, because we're not used to having a lot of NFL prospects. So we get very excited when we see these. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to throw some names. Now, listen, we're not going to talk about the obvious ones like the T-Max and stuff and, things like that. But I'm going to throw some names out there and tell me if they're on a practice squad or above at any point. Practice squad counts for this state because, again, we count those. Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Wendell Moy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I gave you an easy one to start with. Shakori Karofsky Merritt.
Practice squad.
Okay. Practice squad, but with the potential to be better.
Yeah. I don't think he gets drafted. It's tough. Would he have been drafted in this year's draft? Probably not, right?
No, but
if he put up 1,200 yards at Arizona.
Well, if you talk with coaches, then they will definitely tell you that there is a chance for that. So, yes, either way. All right. Now, Traden Stukes.
God.
Traden Stukes is a good one.
I don't think so. Which sucks because I love the guy, but I don't think so.
Right. Yes. Okay. Traden Stukes. Okay, now where it gets interesting. Now it gets very, very interesting. Joseph says if Gunner gets drafted, Mike should have to dedicate a full episode to him. I'm going to interview Gunner, by the way, next week up into Big 12.
Yeah, I'm excited he's at Media Day. I like Gunner.
Now, Rick Trimmer is wrong. Kadeem Carey was our best shot at an NFL running back. No, that was Trung Candidate. He got hurt, but no. All right, now, another one for you. Gunner Maldonado.
No.
Would you start a My Bad Gunner movement if he made? Would you hop
on?
For
sure. There's been guys on that were very clear. You could kind of tell when we don't like a player. We like Gunner.
Right.
Gunner's a good dude. Gunner could have hated us. He never hated us, never treated us differently in practice. And now we're on the Gunner Express. I'm very surprised with who they're bringing to Media Day, to be honest.
Why?
T-Mac going to Media Day is borderline shocking.
I also think that's a flex, though, to be able to show people that his boot is okay or that his foot.
Yeah, but how he feels about media. That's a big deal. He didn't do any interviews in the spring, not one.
No, I get it. Oh, I get it. But I also think that it's a way of putting him out there. But let's also be honest. The young man also is going to be before media a lot going forward in his life. Yeah. So I think it's a good expectation. Okay. Let's see now. Khalil Tate was your best shot at a running back. Dude, Glenn getting in here with all of this garbage. Okay, now let's get to the safeties then. Besides Gunner Maldonado, I am going to argue with you on one when you say you're going to disagree with me here.
You want to know who the best safety is with NFL possibilities?
Well, it's Genesis Smith, but
correct.
Yeah, well, duh. I was on Genesis Smith way before you were, but Dalton Johnson, I believe, is going to play in the NFL, period. And
why Dalton over Gunner?
What's that? Because Dalton's better. Dalton's very good, and Dalton's actually very good in coverage. Dalton is the epitome of a quarterback in the defensive backfield. The difference when Dalton is in the game and when he is not in the game is stark.
Yes, absolutely. You also like it because Dwayne Akina adores him.
Oh, he does adore him. Yes. Did I tell you? So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of and this didn't come from Dwayne, but I'm going to tell you something that came from another coach, though. When they came in here, first thing it was like, why and this is with all due respect to Christian Young. He says, why in the world isn't this guy playing? Why in the world wasn't this guy playing last year? And then, Dalton Johnson's just really, really good. And, I think he's going to be on an NFL roster, practice squad or above. You say no, Scheer.
No, I think he gets practice squad.
Okay. Elaine Tran, yes, he can do both. He's actually very, very good. So now Genesis Smith, I do believe, will absolutely be on an NFL roster. I believe that Genesis Smith is going to be picked as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Now let's move in. And Tacario Davis goes without saying. And again, we're not talking about the obvious ones. So now let's go to the linebackers. Jacob Manu's going to play in the NFL.
Yeah, he's small, and I get it. But if you're a team, you take a chance on him, right? Like you take a chance and you see what happens.
Yes, exactly. Because he's way too instinctive. He's way too. There's just, like I said, there's just way too much going on there for him not to play in the NFL. I just don't see any chance that there is not. Now, a guy that whose father took a little bit of a shot at you, or not a shot at you, but Steve Loop.
I know. Loop. He's my guy.
I believe Tyler Loop can play. I believe Tyler Loop's going to play in the NFL. Steve Loop very upset with Scheer that he didn't put that.
He's my guy. He was just giving me crap. He's a really good dude. Yeah. I liked that. That's one of my things where I try to mix it up a little bit, you know.
Right. Yeah, but I get it. No, and Scooby and Jacob Manu are two totally different people, Glenn.
Scooby had no athleticism whatsoever.
Right. Jacob Manu was a dude. Jacob Manu is a tackle machine. So that's something I think that we need to keep. We definitely need to keep in mind when it comes to all of this. You know what else we need to keep in mind as well?
Chicken and pickle.
Chicken and pickle. All right. Now you might say to yourself, I've heard you bring up chicken and pickle before. Wasn't that what putts Jacob Franklin? And yes, that was with Jacob Franklin. Jacob Franklin would not allow us to hang out with him in chicken pickle. But guess what? I heard that it was an amazing, amazing event. And Scheer, you heard the same thing. But guess what? It would be more enjoyable if we were there. Chicken and pickle, eat, drink, and play pickleball. Check it out. Scheer, it is what it is, man. Chicken and pickle speaks for itself, and we wanted to be there, but Jacob Franklin would not allow us.
I understand. I think sometimes you don't want to allow greatness in the room because you're afraid of how you'll look in comparison. So I get it.
Right. Yeah. But I get it. But at the same time, everybody likes chicken and pickle. There's all kinds of good stuff. I believe Tommy Lloyd even likes chicken and pickle. Now, here's the deal. Head on over to chickenandpickle.com and see all the fun that you can have at their Glendale location. Check it out. Chicken and pickle. You will thank me later. This is true. Chicken and pickle. Eat, drink, and play pickleball. Now, one other thing.
Attacking us in the comments.
Yes, exactly. Chicken and pickle, take that. All right. Now, one other thing that we have to address, and this is the real elephant in the room. Circle K. Okay. Here's the deal. I am going to be driving up, or I'm not going to be driving. I am going to be going up to Phoenix on Monday with Jason Scheer. And we will be going through Circle K. My friends, we will be going through many Circle Ks. This is not like my parents when they go to these random gas stations and just buy like Davy Crockett coonskin caps and things. Circle K is where we will stop each time.
You know what we could do?
Right.
Actually, when you come to our house and we leave, our first Circle K, we should take you to the one in Gladden Farms.
Yeah, no, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a road trip to Circle K. We are going to take a road trip to Circle K. And guess what? Being that we're part of the inner circle, we're probably going to be treated very, very well. Hopefully, and it would be even better if we had our inner circle hats by now, but we don't have the inner circle hats. Scheer, that's on you.
I know that's not on me, but I know.
All right, now, send selfies of each Circle K you visit. We can do that. We will 1,000% do that. But join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Check it out. Okay, now. Oh, we also want to see the double corner Circle K as well.
Yeah.
I want to see that one. So, yeah, we're going to do a lot of different stuff. All right, but before we get into a little bit of basketball, we need to talk about, though, just, again, we're at the point, 9 wins is what I need. 9 wins, period. I need 9 wins.
Yeah, I need 12 wins. Doesn't mean we're going to get it, but 9 I would be perfectly happy with 9. I could probably live with 8. 7, I'd be pissed.
8's stretching it, but okay. I can at least deal. 8,
I can live with it if it's good for 3rd in the Big 12, right? If it's 8 and like 6 to the Big 12 or something, I'm not happy.
No. We're not going to do that. We don't have ASU expectations around here. Now, with when it comes to now, I want to switch over to a little bit of Arizona basketball here because we need to talk about somebody that is doing his thing. Mount Krivas. What do we expect out of Mount Krivas this year? Mount Krivas is playing internationally. Arizona's got to get a lot out of Mount Krivas. Mount Krivas has to be able to make that next step for Arizona because if he comes in and he's kind of a weenie, that's going to get exposed very quickly.
Yeah, he needs to make an impact. His numbers are interesting to me. Like, I don't expect, he can't put up Umar Bala numbers. That's not going to happen. But this staff really likes him, right? Yeah. And I know Draft Express is Tommy's guy, but they really like him, right? I know. Like, they absolutely think he's going to make a large impact. What, 12-8, I think is doable, right?
Right. 12-8, I would kill for. Honestly, I'm more kind of in that 10-6 realm. If he's 12-8, I'm totally cool with 12-8. But I do believe that he's going to be more like 10-6, something like that. But I believe he makes that next jump. Now, you got to be a little bit careful with these guys at Draft Express because they take anything Tommy Lloyd tells them, then they run with it. This is the same guy, if I'm not mistaken, that said that he saw Kirk Kriisa as being a viable NBA point guard. No, he is not. But with Mount Krivas, he's got a lot of skills, man. And like Dennis Walsh, the great Dennis Walsh says, he needs to stop bringing the ball down. There's so many things, though, that you can kind of like work around the seams a little bit with him where he could get 4-6 extra points / rebounds, mainly because don't bring the ball down and get stronger. And I don't understand why. Just please dunk the ball. When you can, dunk the ball, just do it.
I don't think there's enough dunking with bigs in college basketball. Have you noticed that?
I don't get it. If I could dunk, I would dunk every single time that I could. See, that's why I don't really get mad at Caleb Love for trying to dunk on everything, because I'd rather have that than the 7-footer that goes, and I'm not saying this about this, but goes with the beta, under the basket flip, the Vlade Divac stuff. I do not like that.
Yeah, in the MNBA, we dunk. In the NCAA, we dunk. It's really weird. Like, they don't dunk. Like, bigs don't dunk. Like, it's not just a Krivas issue. Like, I didn't think Ballo dunked enough.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, if you could do it, like, I guess maybe we just grew up in the era when people tried to dunk. Watching Shaq was awesome. It was great because he was trying to kill you every time he dunked the ball. Do it. It's easy. It's
the real issue, Mike, and this is, you could do a whole podcast on this. This went back in the Shaq days. Shaq knew that Shaq was a center, right? I will get in the block. I will dominate you on the block, and I will dunk it on your face. Yes. Now, your bigs want to be threes. That's the difference. Like, everyone wants to shoot. Everyone wants to handle the ball. And then Tommy likes the traditional big, which sometimes is good, sometimes it's not. But yeah, just dunk the ball, man.
Yeah, the Houston's a great point. Let's get to Houston in a second here. But the other thing, too, drives me up a wall in this day and age, and Charles Barkley says this all the time, and he is right. If you are 7 foot and you have a 6'6" person guarding you, guess what? You should be shooting layups, not 3-pointers. I don't understand this. This is such a metrics nerd thing that just drives me up a wall. If you have, go ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Like it's.
I don't get it.
Imagine watching it like in AU in high school where you're looking at these dudes. And it's like you can't, like, at least there's bigs in the NBA that can shoot, right?
Yeah, for sure. I get it.
But like in high school, when you see these bigs, like shooting, like, I don't want to call him out. I think he's a good player. But like Section 7, we watched Waddington, right? Who's a sophomore. Dude is so much physically bigger than everyone on the court. And he shot like 4 threes in a game. I love when guarding you is 5'8". Like, go dunk on him.
I love when you say, I don't want to call him out, and then you proceed to directly call him
out. Well, no, I think he's good. Like, I don't want to – I'm not making him out. But you know what I mean? Like, these bigs all – Steph Curry ruined basketball. That's it. Boom, done.
Just super, super weak, and it very much annoys me. Now, again, I'm cool with the guy shooting a 3 every now and then, but with Krivas, you're 7'3". You're not the most fluid, agile guy in the world. Use that to your advantage. Use that to your advantage.
Jacob Franklin, can you dunk? Can Jacob dunk?
Ooh, that's a great question. I I don't think.
Oh, he can't. Okay.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
no way. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, short wingspan though. He's only 6'4". But when it comes to that, Mount Krivas though, 10-6. I don't see the thing where he goes off and is a lottery pick or whatever they're expecting. I do believe that he can play in the MNBA, but I do think that it's going to probably take another year. I think junior year Krivas is when he really takes off.
I'll say this: if Krivas plays well enough to be a first-round pick, Arizona's really good, and it is a big dub for Tommy Lloyd.
Yes, exactly. That's what they need to. That's what we need to do. But Mount Krivas, we have high expectations. Plus, I also like Tobe Awaka being there as well. I think with Tobe Awaka, I think he is a very good backup option. But it was I think it was the great Rick Trimmer that said this, where he said, they try to, Houston tries to dunk. Teams like that, yes. Teams that lift weights, teams with players with these, whatever this muscle is right here. That's what we want. We want players that dunk the ball. And we never get, even Tarczewski, like he couldn't catch the ball, but like, I don't know. It just, like I said, it just drives me up a wall. Dunk it. It's fun. It's good. It's a testosterone rush.
Yeah, dunk the ball. If I could dunk, I would just dunk on everyone. I'd be on the street just dunking on people.
Yeah, you would, because that's what you do. Also, no better time to become a PHNX diehard, my friends. Check it out. Be like Erica L. Day in there and become a PHNX diehard. It is all kinds of fun, all kinds of really, really good stuff. Now, Jason Scheer, where can they find you doing all of your work?
WildcatAuthority.com, Wildcat Scoop podcast with my wife, Shelby. And at Jason Scheer, I'm going to keep going, Mike. 50% off sale, Wildcat Authority, $1 for the first month. Literally $1 to spend time with me. Mike would spend $2.
Yeah.
So think about that. Mike would pay double that just to hang out with me.
Yeah. And by the way, I was real quick, I made a friend with another ASU person. Some guy named Illegal Rib Dealer is now my friend. He is on ASU. Glenn, you're not my first ASU friend. Yes. He wanted to make a bet with me about the U of A and ASU. Or I don't know if it was a bet or not. And we were going back and forth. And then I said, I'm not going to take a bet from somebody named Illegal Rib Dealer. And we became friends. It is what it is. You know what?
What kind of ribs? Like, is he a serial killer?
No, I don't know. I don't know that. I didn't ask too many questions. I've never met him. But on that note, though, Scheer, we did some really good work here. Big 12 talk. We will be talking with you guys all a lot coming up this coming week. But very much appreciate you all. As you know, you guys are fantastic. Glenn, Gringo Billy, all of you guys, fantastic. The great Eric L. Day. I have a massive migraine. I am going to sign off and go take some Tylenol. And yes, Elaine, we will be at Big 12 Media Day. On that note, though, very much appreciate you all. For venerable Jason Scheer, I am the nerdy Mike Luke, the precocious Jacob Franklin behind the scenes. Come back with us. You have been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.